STALKER Anomaly is a game about survival, exploration, crashes, anomalies, and of course lots and lots of weapons. Some weapons are big, some are small, but there is one weapon that rules amongst all. Can you beat STALKER Anomaly with only a Mosin? Now the answer to that question is an obvious yes. Mod Anomaly to the tits. Go into the settings and make yourself so powerful that even Sidrovich won't scam you. And then it's simple. But that's not a challenge now, is it? So here's the deal. These are our basic rules. Pretty simple. And we're going to use the hardest difficulty for this. We started our adventure how we usually do, with Fanatic's beginner missions. These went very poorly, since knife fighting boars is very bad for your health. Just to drive this home, even the cats came to play. So we abandoned that idea for the meantime, and instead went to look for work elsewhere. Butcher wanted us to fight a pseudo-dog. He won round 1. But round 2 went a bit better. We then got mauled in Rostock before talking to Colonel Petrenko, but at least Zakharov was happy to see us. With a mission from damn near everybody I could talk to right now, we actually scrounged up some significant cash. 33,000 to be exact. And it just so happened that Sidrovich was selling a beautiful Mosin for basically that amount. Took about 2 hours, but we got our hands on our very own Mosin Nagant. That which we promptly used to murder some unsuspecting mutants that I had to deal with anyway. Now armed with the only thing we need to take over the zone, we went to explore Agroprom underground. We went through this entrance to give the bandits underground a nice little swerve. Punk asses. But we did get to show this freaky zombie how beautiful my rifle is. Before getting killed by a second one. Barman was less impressed with my Mosin and was more impressed with the random porno playing on the TV. He directed us to the brain scorcher, of course, and mentioned acquiring some advanced psi field protection. Good thing we know a wacko with that sort of expertise, and we shoved off back to Professor Zakharov. He needed a few days to do the final calibration of the psi helmet, so with a few days to ourselves and our Mosin, I decided this would be a great time to revisit Fnatic. I took a few rookies with me and disposed of those boars that beat my ass last time when I was unarmed. How's that for karma, punk? We handed in a bunch of missions, and the next day, Wolf decided to give us another couple suspects to run around with. Welcome Mr. Swifty and Mr. Wind. You'll get used to these guys, they'll be around for a while. They were only supposed to go a half mile north of the rookie village to kill some mutants, but I would end up taking them through 2 labs and up to Zaton. That's because when we were out doing missions, I scoped the living hell out of some cats from a monster distance away. And even though I say scoped, there was no scope involved. Clearly, my friend here was less than impressed. So, to repay his transgressions, I would make them accompany me through literal hell for the next few days. We would even fight a chimera, but my friends weren't very helpful, after scaring me worse than any other chimera attack in my stalker career. Holy! I had to take care of everything because I forgot to tell them that they were allowed to shoot things. But we were as busy as bees for these next 2 days, and it paid off. With a few extra bullets and some nice armor we traded for vodka from Spirit, Zakharov was done with our fancy new psi helmet. He asked if we could deal with the miracle machine just north of the bunker, and being the excellent stalker we are and owning the only weapon you'd ever need, we just had to take him up on his offer. I got my face eaten not once, but twice. Ran past most of the zombies in the main chamber, shot some snorks from the safety of a spot they couldn't reach me, and we absolutely leveled this poor controller, as if he wasn't a powerful mutant. Now remember, our rules allow us to use fast travel. This feature is nothing crazy, totally vanilla, but can be abused to help in certain cases. And abuse we did. For real though, we didn't have the ammo to do this shit, but we did have the tools to completely skirt it all. Easy choice. The miracle machine left us a little dry on bullets, so we got cracking on some more missions while our traders restocked on 7.62x54R. At one point, we came across some military stalkers that were right on top of the stash we needed to get. These guys smoked us, even killed my friendlies who literally are not supposed to be able to be killed. Wavey had to get creative, so I left me boys elsewhere and climbed up this here tower. A literal perfect place for our Mosin to serve up some death. Ain't so bad. Not too long after, Gatekeeper would tell us something monolith, and if you don't know, that's effectively a summoning spell, so clearly a bunch of monolith had to show up out of nowhere and ruin our party. My Mosin wasn't happy with that, so we donated some blood to the cause. Even taunted them with their own voice lines. From here, we needed to make our way to the radar. The game would prefer if you go through the path that the monolith supposedly came from, but that's not the way we want to go. Instead, we chose the Red Forest, where one of my buddies got absolutely ganged by a Psydog. But a quick saunter through the forest dropped us off right at the foot of the beast. We were getting manhandled out here, so Wavey had to do something, and quick. I found some higher ground near the back of the nearby buildings, and from the roof we started caving in some monolith skulls. Maybe I just killed it, but the action seemed light, so we made a straight dash to the lab. The lab itself was uneventful. Shooting fast, partially invisible monsters with a bolt-action rifle is not exactly simple. My jukes end up being a bit more powerful. We got right to the switch to turn off the brain scorcher. The game nearly crashed on me, and I had to stop to catch my breath. Just word to the wise, it took some time to get here because the game crashed a few times along the way. To say I was tense is an understatement. Now here's where we had to make another decision. We could just jump right out of the lab and call it a day, but we already used that get out of jail free card on the miracle machine. Slowly, we made our way back out. I did get smoked a few times, but I will say it's because I was being a bit too reckless at certain points. At least one was mutual though. We did manage to grab a couple of nasty dome shots along the way. Nozarog don't really matter when Mosin EP round smashed through your face. Now does it? But same as main character in an anime, our plot armor was too strong, and Wavey made his quick escape the same second we were out of the lab. Speaking of overpowered armor, when we killed those military brats a while back, we acquired a beautiful exosuit. We didn't really have the means to repair it at the time, but now is a little bit different. Also, full disclosure, this is us at the point where we break the rules. I said no changing of default difficulty values, but we moved the weight up for a moment so I could actually move around with the exosuit in my inventory. Problem is, we completely forgot to change it back. There's still another like 5 hours of footage, so there's no shot I'm redoing it. We got what we got. Brain Scorcher disabled, Miracle Machine disabled, Mosin, exosuit. We have only one more piece to the puzzle before we hit unstoppable status. It was time to head up north, to visit the rest of the places that I could buy 762x54R. Oh, and to get that last puzzle piece I was talking about. That's right, the heart of the Oasis. Who saw that one coming? Jokes aside, this artifact pretty much seals the deal. We are basically unbeatable at this point. Once we got all the way up to Zaton, we spoke with Rogue, one of Strelok's buddies. And unfortunately, when we go into Zaton, I totally forgot about my two friendlies. They were God knows where, and one ended up getting killed. That was the impulse I needed to finally finish that mission. Mr. Swifty and Mr. Win. May they forever be known as some dumb idiot rookies I dragged through the worst parts of the zone, even though they only wanted to fight a few boars. Anyways, we went and grabbed this cool gauze rifle for Rogue, and he invited us to accompany him to Pripyat. This meant the Jupiter Underground Passage was next on the list for us to conquer. It was pretty run-of-the-mill. Our Mosin was rough to use against the nearly endless supply of snorks, but our knife would help lend a hand. The monolith and the zombies caught some serious smoke though. This is where we finally get to meet the man, the myth, the legend, Strelok. After coming all this way, I was rewarded with more work, as per usual. Rogue had me killing a pseudo-giant, and here's your gambling opportunity, folks. Over under 25 rounds to kill the pseudo-giant. Place your bets. And this is why you don't gamble, kids. Trick question. It was exactly 25 rounds to kill it. And yes, I did count. after the pseudo-giant was Lab X8 that Strelok wanted me to explore. He was obviously too much of a sissy to do it himself, so he sent us. We made quick work of the monolith guards, started the generator, and got into the lab. We brought the smoke for the snorks and for these little trolls, but I was a bit upset with how many rounds the Buurs needed before they made their journey to the Wish Granter in the sky. Even more upset when I found out the documents we need weren't even in this room. They were actually over here this time. So we did what any sane person would do, and we ran right up to the bathroom Buur and slashed him to pieces. Even gave him one round just to say I used the Mosin. From here, we needed to prep for an assault on the monolith headquarters and the CMPP. Basically, I needed to liquidate the inventory of every trader in the game of Mosin rounds, wait for them to restock, and then do it again. And with a little over 300 bullets, we collected the Goonies and shipped off for monolith territory. Here's where we were faced with a potential failure of the challenge. During this mission, we were supposed to use that fancy Gauss rifle we got for Rogue to kill a supposedly unkillable monolith leader. Before we resort to such underhanded tactics, such as using non-Mosin-y weapons, we just had to see, can you kill Eidolon with a Mosin? And the answer to that question was a fucking yes, sir. Between the boys, me and my Mosin, we did actually do it. Getting to the CMPP, though, was a task. Monolith troops far. Monolith troops close. One Chimera, even a lurker. And to top it all off, even a stinking pseudo-giant. But there wasn't anything too serious around the entrance. At least, nothing the Mosin can't solve. Now came the sweat. Inside the plant was stiff resistance, and most of the enemies had exosuits, exoskeletons, noserugs, the works. My friendlies were also helping me get killed, so I can't say I didn't die in the CMPP raid anymore. The next 30 minutes was just me, ending monolith soldier after monolith soldier. Unfortunately though, one of the crazier parts of climbing up the ladder to be greeted by 40 soldiers is not here. That's because the game crashed when I went to go see the Wish Granter and I forgot to record it. But we pick it back up in these tunnels, where the killing spree continued. Eventually I had the last soldier dead, and I spent the next 5 minutes killing 3 Pyrogeists. 1 monolith shard later, and over 100 monolith soldiers dead, we beat STALKER Anomalies lost to the zone with only a Mosin. I do hope you guys enjoyed. I know I did. I wish I wasn't so dumb and I remembered to lower the weight limit, but we beat the game with a friggin' Mosin. But otherwise, peace out, and I will catch you on the flip.